If I were to walk up to you on the street and ask you, what is a fullback? What would you say? You might say that they're like a small tight end that lines up in the backfield and exists primarily to make sure that the tailback can get to the end zone safely. You might say that they're a Swiss Army knife that can be used for multiple different things, but still at the end of the day, primarily block. You might even say they're a dying breed. But if I were to ask Ben Johnson that question, the current head coach of the Chicago Bears, I think he would say something very, very interesting. He would say a fullback is whatever the hell I want it to be. Because realistically, after watching the Bears offense this year, that seems to me how he feels about the position. The Bears don't have a true fullback on their roster. They don't have anyone with the designation. They haven't had that since they cut Kari Blasingame a few years ago. Instead, they have Durham Smythe. They have Devin Duvernay. They have DJ Moore. They have Cole Kmet. They have Colston Loveland. They have Luke Newman. They have Daniel Hardy. All players that have lined up in the backfield as a fullback at some point this season. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I just name 2 wide receivers, a defensive end, a guard, and 3 tight ends? Well, it's because Ben Johnson is Ben Johnson. We know he's weird, we know he's innovative, and we know he will try anything at least once. So in this video, I wanted to take a look at 12 different plays this season that show why I think Ben Johnson would say a fullback is whatever the hell he wants it to be, because it really does feel that way. I want to take a look at how these fullbacks are used on a given play. I want to take a look at what they're doing for the team, and, if they do something interesting, I'll show that off as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into talking about Ben Johnson's quote-unquote fullbacks. Now, obviously, before we get into all the fancy stuff that Ben Johnson has done with a quote-unquote fullback in his offense, we need to start with the basics. We need to start with Ben Johnson running straight up 21 personnel, and that is exactly what we have here. Now, the Bears don't have a true fullback on their roster, so we don't get to start there. Instead, we are starting the next leg down, which is putting a backup tight end at fullback. This is something that Ben Johnson did dating all the way back to Detroit. He did this with Brock Wright very often, especially in goal line situations. And with the Bears, the quote-unquote fullback for these personnel packages is Durham Smythe, their third tight end coming over from the Miami Dolphins most recently. And he has done a pretty damn good job. Now, you're not going to mistake him for a true fullback, but he gets the job done. And at the end of the day, that's all they're looking for, right? So on this play right here, we're going to be running the ball to the right with Kyle Monangai, and Smythe is going to be involved with a double team, with Cole Kmet. So we'll go ahead and check this one out as they're going to bring Kmet in motion. And then again, you see the double team right here. Smythe is going to engage head on. Kmet is going to wall him off. And then Monangai is going to come right through as we've got Loveland going to pick up the safety. You've got a double team here with Jonah Jackson and Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright's going to be responsible for this linebacker right here. And this is going to result in a pretty substantial gain. You see the Bears are going to pick up 18 yards here. Monangai maybe could have made that last guy miss, but speed isn't his game. He is truly a power back, and given how low Jair Brown got here, you probably weren't going to run over him. So getting back to the formation here, right? The key here is the way you're forcing the 49ers to line up. You have your fullback over here, and you have Cole Kmet who's going to motion across. This is going to force the entire defense, and most notably these linebackers, to shift with the flow of traffic. By doing that, you're going to put the linebacker that is on the backside here, the weak side backer, he is going to be in perfect position for Joe Thuney to go pick him up. And then the other linebacker is going to drift with traffic, which puts him in perfect position for Darnell Wright to pick him up. We'll see exactly what I mean here in a second. As you can see, Joe Thuney, boom, perfect position to take care of, I believe, D. Winters at this point. The Niners have had 17 different linebackers, it feels like, since Fred Warner went down. And then you've got this linebacker right here, who Darnell Wright is going to be responsible for. And because you pull the tight end and have the fullback on this side, these linebackers know, hey, this is the strong side of the formation. They're probably running this ball to the right. We want to get over there. The Bears have prepped for that. That is the design of the play. The guard and the tackle, Thuney and Darnell Wright, get in position perfectly. And then look at that lane that opens up for Kyle Monangai. If it wasn't for Jair Brown making a really smart play here, getting low, against a back that he knows wants him to stay high so he can utilize his low center of gravity, Monangai might be gone. I don't know that he's going to outrun that entire defense. Maybe it's a 20, 30-yard gain, but still, this is an 18-yard pickup, and it's all through the play design. Monangai doesn't get touched at any point here. Now, obviously, everyone has to execute their blocks, and they do so flawlessly, but I love the design here. utilize that fullback, utilize that tight end, and that opens up a pretty big run for one of the league's better rookie running backs. Second play here we're taking a look at with the traditional fullback usage. This one's going to involve some motioning, and that is a big part of this Bears offense. Ben Johnson loves pre-snap motion. You can see Durham Smythe's actually lined up as an inline tight end at this point, and he's going to motion into the backfield, as is Colston Loveland, who's going to motion across the line here. So we'll go ahead and let them do that. As they bring Loveland, that shifts all three of these linebackers to the left side of the field here. And then they're going to bring Smythe into the backfield, and you can see Caleb Williams IDs the mic. The mic doesn't know what's going on. He's confused. He's looking around. Almost kind of feels like, you guys seeing this? You know, obviously he's just trying to communicate with his teammates, trying to figure out what they're going to do. And then you recognize, oh, the Bears are under center. They've got their tight end on the field. They've got another tight end in at fullback. Kyle Monungai's in the backfield. They're probably going to run this football. So you see here, Caleb Williams does a good job of selling play action, and watch Durham Smythe as he leaks out into the flat here, gets wide open, and Caleb Williams is going to be able to hit him on the check down. And that's a pickup of 11 for the Bears through the air. We'll take another look here because this really does confuse number 48. This puts him in hell, as again, we see him as Smythe's motioning into the backfield, kind of looking around, trying to figure out what's going on. He almost bites down against the run, drops back, and then here after a moment, he kind of recognizes like, oh shit, nobody is on this tight end. Nobody's on this fullback. I'm all the way over here and there's nobody running into my area. I need to get over there and pick that up. That's exactly what the Bears are counting on. Bethune doesn't have a chance in hell of getting to Smythe before he catches the ball, and he has plenty of green grass as well in front of him to pick up that first down. Bethune does end up making the tackle. That's an 11-yard pickup. You know, that's a net positive for the Bears offense, and it is sold fully through having Smythe at fullback and kind of letting him be the forgotten player on this play. You can see the defenders on the left side of your screen here. They prioritize following Colston Loveland into the flat, and then he'll pop up on your screen in a second. They've prioritized following DJ Moore vertically. That's exactly what the Bears want to set up, almost a levels concept here, as you're going to have DJ Moore as the deep receiver. Smythe's going to be your check down, and then Loveland, he's off screen, but he's going to be your intermediate threat. And Caleb Williams is able to take that check down because no one pays any attention to Durham Smythe. Point being, this is really well executed by the Bears. This is a great play design here. I love getting Smythe involved out of the backfield, and he's not the only Bears tight end who catches passes out of the backfield lined up at fullback. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We'll talk about that here in a couple minutes. And the final play we're going to take a look at in this Durham Smythe section of the video doesn't even technically have Durham Smythe listed at fullback or set up at fullback. He would be more of an H-back on this play. And I'm not talking about a halfback. I'm talking about an H-back. If you don't know what an H-back is, I'd be surprised because you're watching a video about fullbacks, but for those who don't know, it is the middle ground between a tight end and a fullback. A tight end has to be lined up on the line of scrimmage, or at least level with the offensive line, and then the fullback would be further set back. If Smythe is a true fullback here, he would probably be in line with DeAndre Swift, whether it's all the way over here or even directly behind Caleb Williams. Instead, he's offset a little bit further north and lined up directly behind the right tackle, which would make him an H-back. He's lined up behind the line of scrimmage, behind the offensive line, but he isn't quite in a fullback spot. So this play right here, the reason why I want to show it off is because the play design here is really cool. We've got your guard, your tackle, and your fullback doing a couple different things to throw off the defense. You can see on the left side of the screen, this is pretty straightforward, right? Tight end blocks up, other tight end blocks man up. You've got your offensive tackle here reaching. You've got your guard here reaching. You've got your center climbing to the second level to pick up the linebacker. And then you've got your tackle reaching inside, your tight end, your fullback, your H-back, whatever you want to call Smythe here, picking up the defensive end. And then Tooney's actually going to get out into space and lead block as if he is the fullback on this play. So let's go ahead and see how this one plays out, as they're going to hand this ball off. And right away, you sense a little bit of confusion from 56 here. His eyes are up. He's watching the handoff, but he also sees Jonah Jackson in his peripherals, and he's feeling, okay, they're going to hand this ball off, and I got to deal with the guard, right? Instead, Jonah Jackson's going to keep going, and Durham Smythe goes low and takes out 56 here. You can see he's going to end up on the ground, has no chance to make any impact on the play. And in the same vein, 27 over here, who's a little bit off screen. Let me see if I can rewind to get him back on screen. I cannot, but just know that 27 here is off to the side, watching the same thing go down, thinking, okay, the fullback's going to come pick me up. And instead, he sees big old Jonah Jackson running out in space. Now, 227's credit, Jair Brown, I'm going to say his name because I was a fan of his coming out of Penn State. He does a great job on this play. He goes low on Jonah Jackson and forces DeAndre Swift to hurdle into the end zone. Jonah Jackson really doesn't get to set the block he was probably dreaming of here, because realistically, a guard one-on-one in space with a safety in the red zone, man, I bet Jonah wanted to kill this guy. I bet he wanted to make his helmet fly off. Instead, the safety does a good job. Jair Brown does a good job of playing low. Jonah Jackson doesn't care. He's happy. He scored, or his team scored. But again, I love the design here. A little bit of trickery almost, as you have the tackle pick up, who you're probably expecting off the rip, the guard to pick up, and then the second guy you'd think the guard would pick up gets picked up by the fullback, and then the guard plays fullback for you on the play. Point being, for the purposes of this video, awesome job there by Durham Smythe picking up his guy, and that was a really, really cool play call by Ben Johnson. Moving to the next step down from having a traditional fullback, we have having non-blocking tight ends in at fullback. Starting out with Cole Kmet, who one could argue has become a little bit of a blocking tight end this year, but I would say he's still a receiving threat and a cut above Durham Smythe as a football player. Point being, this play is really, really good from Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. They're going to force a ton of misdirection and a ton of confusion that's going to result in a huge play for the Bears. So how do we start that? We have Cole Kmet lined up at fullback as we come out of the huddle. We're then going to shift him into a traditional tight end spot. And if we rewind just a hair, you see that's going to force 91 here to step inside. He's going to adjust his positioning to right over top of the left tackle. And then we're going to bring eligible tackle Theo Benedette over as well to go from 22 personnel to 13 personnel with an extra offensive lineman. And you can see as all this is going on, the Niners are communicating like crazy. There's all sorts of chatter going on here. 25 doesn't shut up on this play, and I don't mean that as a negative. He's doing a good job reacting to the offense and letting his guys know, hey, matchups, things like that. And that's all going to culminate in 93 here getting confused and making a mistake. So you have all of this misdirection here, where you're moving all of these pieces around, and you also have Caleb Williams, who one of the more underrated parts of his game is his cadence and his ability to draw defenders. And it results in this. We're going to have 93 here jump off sides. Caleb gets to drop back, has a lot of time, rolls to his right, and he's going to heave one to Colston Loveland. I shouldn't even say heave. He threw that ball on a rope. I mean, this is such a crazy throw. I love Caleb Williams so much, man. But anyways, he is going to hit Colston Loveland downfield. And I just want to bring it up because I find it funny. Look at where Cole Kmet ends up. Bro went from playing fullback on this play to running a wheel route and ending up in the back corner of the end zone. I mean, great play design here from Ben Johnson. And again, we watch it from the start. All of this misdirect matters. It causes the 49ers defense to be on their toes. They don't know what's happening. They're trying to adjust. They're trying to, figure out what's going on, trying to communicate. And it causes 93 here, Davis, I'm not sure who he is, I'm going to be honest. It causes Davis here to get confused, jump off sides. The Bears get a free play, and Caleb Williams, much like one of his heroes, who I'm not going to say the name of, he takes full advantage of it and finds his favorite target downfield for a big-time touchdown. The other play we're going to take a look at in this non-blocking tight end at fullback tier, if you want to call it that, I don't know what else to call it, is Colston Loveland right here, who is going to motion into the backfield here all the way back in Week 9 against Cincinnati. And this is your top tight end. This is your top pass catcher for this year. He led the team in yards. This is not a traditional blocking tight end, quote unquote, even though Loveland can block. Instead, you've got him in the backfield to force a matchup. Because now, by putting him in the backfield, you don't have to worry about a safety being on him. You don't have to worry about a corner being on him. All of a sudden, it's going to be one of these two linebackers. And the Bengals linebackers aren't that great. So watch what happens here. As we're going to send DJ Moore in motion as well. Loveland's going to sell here on play action. You can see he runs into traffic. And then he's going to slip right through the A-gap. And he's going to get a one-on-one with this linebacker. He's not guarding Colston Loveland downfield. So Caleb Williams gets to do his heroics. We're going to rewind just a hair here so you can see Caleb Williams spin out of a defender. And Loveland's going to create a good bit of separation here headed towards the sideline. And Caleb's going to be able to hit him on the run. Loveland hauls it in. That's a 10-yard pickup. How often do you see a fullback, quote-unquote, a player at the fullback position, I should say, run a damn corner route? Like, that is exactly what happens here. He ends up running a corner route against this linebacker and gets wide open for Caleb Williams. We can take a look from the other angle as well, and now you've got this one-on-one you're forcing with Carter, and he just doesn't have a chance. You can see he points out DJ Moore over here. You can see his shoe in the bottom of your, or off to the right of your screen, and that's going to force that DB over there to stick with DJ Moore, and that's going to leave Loveland in the perfect one-on-one, or in a perfect one-on-one opportunity, I should say. I mean, this is fantastic stuff here. You can see he's going to get his separation. Look at all that separation he generates. That's a ton of separation, and it's because you forced that matchup. If Loveland's up against a safety or a corner, he still might get separation because he's a fantastic separator, but he's definitely not generating that much separation from his man. This is a fantastic job. Also, check out Caleb Williams, man. He's a freak. But this is an awesome play design here, an awesome play call, and awesome execution from both quarterback and tight end on the play. Next two plays we're going to take a look at here take us to the Steelers game and are going to have us talking about my least favorite brand of quote-unquote fullback. And I want to make sure the word fullback is put in heavy quotation marks because we are talking about an offensive lineman at fullback. This is the bane of my existence. Every time I see a team do this, I lose years off of my life. It brings me no joy. It brings me nothing but pain. But to paint the full picture for all the different ways Ben Johnson has used this position in his offense, we do have to talk about these. Now, these are the only two I could find from this season where, they lined up an offensive lineman at fullback, so thankfully there's not a lot to talk about. But we do have rookie Luke Newman in here at guard, and on this play, he's going to be tasked with double teaming the nose tackle, Yahweh Black, a fellow rookie with yet another fellow rookie, Ozzie Trapillo. A lot of rookie on rookie action here. And they're actually going to run away from Luke Newman. So realistically, this is no different than when Ben Johnson puts Ozzie Trapillo or Theo Benedette, whichever one throughout the season it's been, in as an eligible tackle, right? He does that a lot. We've seen him do it plenty this year. And this is really the same thing, just with lining up the lineman in a different spot to create a little bit of a different matchup. And it also pulls these linebackers downhill, so they're going to be in position. Now, number 6 right here, Patrick Queen, isn't actually going to get blocked, but he does get lost in traffic. The other linebacker, though, that you're responsible for, number 50, you need to get him in position for Joe Tooney to get up to the second level and take care of him off of a double team, So, we'll go ahead and take a look at this one. As Newman does a good job, like he helps sell the pass, right? This is an RPO, and he's going to get uphill. He picks up 94. You see Joe Tooney, because 50 steps downhill, seeing that big-ass guard coming uphill, he gets put in perfect position for Tooney to take care of him. And the rest of the blocking is good as well. And because of the way they're blocking, they create a giant wall right here for Kyle Monangai, and there's no way he can get through here. He's actually going to find a lane on the backside and pick up 9 yards here. He presses that line perfectly. Can't quite outrun 29. Also, look at Luther Burden blocking his ass off. That's my guy right there. Anyways, this is a great job here by the line as a whole. And again, Newman essentially playing that eligible tackle role, just lined up in a different spot on the offense. Does a pretty solid job. He does end up falling to his knees there. He gets tripped up a little bit, but thankfully, his fellow rookie, Ozzie Trapillo, has a handle on Yahweh Black. And by the time it happens, Kyle Monangai is on the other side of the line and running. Like, there's no world where that's going to impact the play. So, good on Newman. Good design there from Ben Johnson, as much as I hate to say it, having a guard at fullback. I want to get done with this play. I want to get done with this play. In the next play, I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to explain them, and then we're going to get away from it because I feel gross talking about offensive linemen playing fullback. And the other play we're going to look at here where Ben Johnson allowed one of his offensive linemen to cosplay as a fullback is going to be a passing play. Now, what the Bears are trying to do here is get this DJ Moore comeback open. And how are they going to do that? Well, it's all in the play design, right? You've got Olamide Zaccheaus. Couldn't remember which receiver it was for a second. The Bears have so many. You've got Olamide Zaccheaus at the top of the screen here. He's going to run a post, which should pull away this safety up top. And then DJ Moore has a one-on-one on the outside with 42. 42 has outside leverage, so DJ Moore is in a good spot to break this back inside, which leaves these 3 linebackers. You only have 3 routes going, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that could potentially be in coverage. We've already talked about 3 of them. What do you do with these other 3? Well, you run this off of play action, and you get the linebackers to bite. If they see a 300-pound player in the backfield, they're probably thinking run. Especially with these three linebackers, you've got Patrick Queen, who's a downhill guy. Number 50, whose name is escaping me, he's a downhill guy. And Kyle Duggar here, who is a box safety. He's better against the run than he is the pass. If you can get these three guys to bite downhill, you're golden. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So Caleb Williams does a good job faking the play action here. And look at how far downhill these three step. Now, Kyle Duggar is actually blitzing, so that helps out. You've got Kyle Monungai to block him. But look how far downhill these two are. DJ Moore is inside, about to break this back. 50 is going to stick with Luke Newman, who's actually going to be running a flat route here. And Pat Queen is trying to make up ground, but his hips are open to the outside. He cannot get to DJ Moore. He's in hell right now. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know where to be. There's nothing he can do. And DJ Moore is going to be wide open. Beautiful throw with anticipation here from Caleb. Ends up with a hand in his face from Kyle Duggar. But I mean, DJ Moore has plenty of separation here. 42 didn't have a chance. Patrick Queens didn't have a chance there. DJ Moore picks up 20 for Chicago, and a lot of it was the play design. That was a fantastic design by Ben Johnson to open up this throw for Caleb Williams and for DJ Moore. And as much as I hate to admit it, having that big-ass lineman in the backfield helps sells it a lot more. If you have Durham Smythe back there, they probably bite. But given that they see the 300-pounder who is coming, forward, they don't expect him to run a real route. They're not thinking he's running a route. They're biting downhill. They think he's going to be blocking for Kyle Monungai. And instead, it ends up in a 20-yard gain for the Bears offense through this play design. So, as much as I hate to admit it, good design, right? Like, this is really good stuff here with the guard cosplaying as a fullback. And I do want to say, I like Luke Newman a lot. I'm not trying to insult him in any sort of way. He's a very talented young football player. I like him a lot as a offensive lineman on the Chicago Bears. It makes me feel gross talking about linemen playing fullback in any capacity. You could have Darnell Wright back there, and I would probably still feel gross about it. So it's not about the player. It's about the position he plays versus where he's lining up. But regardless, good stuff there from Ben Johnson, and we can move on. All right, here's where things start to get weird. Because as you can see, our fullback on this play is DJ Moore, the wide receiver. Now, hear me out, right? We're going to rewind it just a bit. You see we line up, normal, 11 personnel, one tight end, one running back. We're going to motion DJ into the backfield as the fullback. That's going to bring Cooper DeJean into frame. It's going to force Zach Bond to step inside. They're going to respect this right side of the line because this is where the fullback is. And you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, okay, well, this is like what they did with Colston Loveland. They want to force a matchup. They want to get DJ Moore one-on-one with Nakobe Dean. That's pretty smart. No, they're going to run the football here with DJ Moore at fullback, and they're going to pick up 17 yards doing it. So let's go ahead and see how that is humanly possible. As they're going to motion Cole Kmet, and they're really selling, hey, look, they're running to the right side. You can see Cooper DeJean, his arms up. He's like, hey, right side. They've got a fullback and they've got a tight end over here. They're going to be running this ball to the right. So what do the Bears do? A little misdirection, as DJ Moore is going to run to the outside and be responsible for Jalen Phillips, and Kyle Monungai is going to take a counter run also to the outside. Now, the rest of the Eagles defense, you can see Zach Bond stepping down, Nakobe Dean stepping down, Jalen Carter's going across, Jordan Davis is stepping down. They're all shifting to the right side of your screen here, which leaves Jalen Phillips and then Reed Blankenship as the only two defenders you have to worry about on this play. Blankenship is going to step outside once he sees that Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, I can't quite tell who it is, one of the other receivers, is starting to step inside. So he's like, oh, okay, I see my man. I'm going to go his direction, see what happens. It was Rome. And in the process of all of that, DJ sells a block on Jalen Phillips as Kyle Monungai continues to carry this with the momentum of the offensive line. And then he's going to cut this back outside. Look where Jalen Phillips is at. He cannot make a play on Kyle Monungai. He's simply too far out because he felt the need to set the edge because he knew that DJ Moore was coming at him to block. And so he's got to stay out here just in case they do try to run it his way. Because he's so far out, and DJ Moore doesn't even really have to block. He almost runs by it like he's trying to run a route. He hits him with the damn swim move. But because he's so far outside, and the action is so far to the right here, that opens up a huge lane for Kyle Monungai, who then gets up to the third level, gets tackled by Sidney Brown, and Jalen Phillips is playing catch-up the whole time. This is awesome. This is fantastic design here by Ben Johnson. You know, it's awesome, honestly, as a Bears fan, to see an innovative play caller. If Luke Getsy did this, they'd run fullback dive with DJ Moore and we'd pick up -4 yards, right? If Shane Waldron did it, DJ Moore would probably just be told to stand there and watch the play. Like, the last two play callers we've had, I see something like this, I'm throwing my hands over my face like, I can't watch, I can't do this. Ben Johnson does it, I'm sitting up in my seat. You know, I'm kind of sitting up like, oh, okay, what's the plan here, Benny boy? What are we doing? And what are we doing? We're picking up 17 yards on a run, and we're using DJ Moore as a flawless decoy to make sure that Jalen Phillips can't get to the running back. We've got two more plays from the 49ers game with a wide receiver in at fullback, technically. This is going to be Devin Duvernay this time, who's actually going to motion inside and run up through the C gap and be our lead blocker for DeAndre Swift. We've got Cole Kmet here on the outside. We'll go ahead and motion him to start off our movement. As you can see, the Niners linebackers are pointing off to the right side here. So then our blocking assignments are as follows. We've got boom, 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 boom. DJ Moore is responsible for the corner. And then Devin Duvernay is going to kick inside to the C gap. And you're going to see Jair Brown step down here in a second, which is who Duvernay is going to be responsible for. So we'll go ahead and check this one out. You see Caleb Williams, IDs the mic. You can see Tatum Bethune is pointing like crazy to the right side of the line. He notices there's a lot more skill position players over on the right side of the line. There's more bodies over there. They have the numbers advantage, and he wants to make that known. So you can see here, you've got your two double teams. Kmet does a good job. DJ Moore is going to do a good job. And Duvernay, running through the C gap here, is playing the fullback role. He is, you know, lead blocking for DeAndre Swift. And unfortunately, he does a pitiful job here. Like, I like Devin Duvernay. This is just not his rep. This is a pretty pitiful job. You don't block with the shoulder, man. You know, you don't step into the C gap and block with the shoulder against a safety. No. No. This is what people have been trying to tell me DJ Moore has been doing for weeks. Look at DJ Moore. He gets up in there. He puts his hands into the chest of the wide receiver, or into the chest of the DB as a wide receiver. But Duvernay is going to try to lead with that shoulder. Doesn't work out for him. DeAndre Swift still picks up 5. But, like, I like the design here. This is just poor execution from Devin Duvernay. You know, if Duvernay could set his block, this could have been even bigger. You know, if he gets inside here, turns out the safety, look at that lane that DeAndre Swift has. The play call is great, right? That's what we're focused on here. The play call from Ben Johnson is great. In theory, this should work. Honestly, get Luther Burden into that position, and he's probably wiping Jair Brown off the map. He has been such a good blocker this year for us. But anyways, you know, this is good design. I like what Ben Johnson was thinking here. I like the vision. This is another thing that we've seen the Rams do, you know, with Cooper Kupp especially. But it just doesn't work out because of a poor execution on the block. I mean, this kind of stuff pisses me off, man. Again, I like Devin Duvernay. I don't want to talk too much shit on him, but I hate this kind of thing. You're being asked to block. Use your fucking hands. You are a blocker on this play, right? I understand Duvernay, he's primarily a kick returner. He's a receiver. He's not like an offensive lineman or a tight end. I don't care. Get your damn hands up. You know, that's like blocking 101 is get your damn hands up. You're not blocking a safety who is heavier than you by hitting him with your inside shoulder when he has more momentum coming downhill. You see the safety, he's stepping all the way downhill. Duvernay stops his momentum and tries to like shift into him. You're not winning that rep ever. But again, point being, if we take another look here, the process is good, right? The process is really good. If Duvernay plants his feet, gets his back to the back like we would like to preach here on Fullback Friday, and opens up for DeAndre Swift, who knows how many yards he's getting on this play. So again, to Ben Johnson's credit, great job. To Duvernay's credit, learn how to block. Please learn how to block. Or, you know, throw somebody else in this position. Obviously, Rome Odunze was hurt for this game. Maybe this is a play that they designed for Rome, and, you know, he just wasn't there to execute. But regardless, poor effort, but a really, really good play call from Ben Johnson. The last wide receiver at fullback play we're going to take a look here is all about the design, because honestly, the execution from Caleb Williams on this passing play wasn't perfect. I feel he should have held this ball just a second longer and hit the fullback in question, being Devin Duvernay. But realistically, it's not the end of the world. This was a first down play. They pick up 2 yards, checking it down. You live and you learn, whatever, right? But the reason I bring that up is because I hope this is a play call that Ben Johnson keeps around and runs with a more prolific receiver, right? If you put a DJ Moore, a Luther Burden, a Rome Odunze in the backfield on this play, I think you're going to find really good success in the red zone. Now, obviously, given the injury to Rome Odunze for this game, he didn't have that opportunity, but again, I hope it's something we run in the future. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one as we've got two crossers on the left side. Duvernay lined up at fullback here is going to run a corner route, and then you've got Loveland on a check and release route. He's going to block the defensive end and then run out into the flat. So we've got play action. That's going to pull the defense downhill. And what you end up getting is a bunch of one-on-ones, right? You've got DJ Moore one-on-one with the linebacker here. You've got this safety stepping down on Luther Burden. You've got this safety here responsible for Devin Duvernay. And then you've got this linebacker here trying to catch up to Colston Loveland, which is why I understand why Caleb picks this up. Loveland's got a ton of separation. So what Caleb needs to do on this play is read number 2. If he goes up and follows with Devin Duvernay, you check this down 100%. If he turns around and comes back downhill, Devin Duvernay's one-on-one with a safety up here and is probably going to win that one-on-one. So watch what ends up happening. You see the corner steps downhill. Obviously, Caleb's already thrown it at this point, so let's rewind it just a hair before Caleb has actually thrown it. You see number 2 ends up turning around. I see the point in throwing this to Loveland. He's got green in front of him. Sure, I'm not terribly mad at it, right? It's first down. You can live with what ends up being a 2-yard completion. But, you know, in a situation where this is Rome Odunze or a more reliable receiver, look at this one-on-one up here. I mean, that's a lot of separation there for Duvernay. Obviously, at a certain point, the ball's been thrown. Maybe the safety isn't trying as much, but the route's fantastic. He's cutting across the safety's face right there. And if you throw this up to Rome, hit him in the chest or hit him in the hands, he's going to make that play. If you do that with Luther Burden, he's going to make that play. You do it with DJ Moore, he's going to make that play. And honestly, Devin Duvernay probably would have made this play. Now, again, I understand why Caleb checks it down, but the play design here is fantastic. I love this. This is a really, really good red zone play call. This is a really, really nice red zone play design. And it's one that I hope the Bears stick with. It's really interesting to see how Ben Johnson gets his chess pieces involved, because putting a wide receiver in at fullback to have them run a corner off of play action in the red zone, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So again, love this play call from Ben Johnson. And I really hope it is one that we see maybe even this weekend against Green Bay, but if not, definitely in the future at some point. And the final little variation on the fullback position that Ben Johnson has utilized is probably my favorite, and that is putting Daniel Hardy in at fullback. Now, if you don't know who Daniel Hardy is, he is a special teamer for the Chicago Bears, technically a defensive end, but he plays mostly on special teams. And you'll be able to see on this play and then the next one, the Bears bring him in at fullback. The next play is probably a little bit more impressive, but I like the design on this one. And I want to start with it because I don't want to end on a Caleb Williams incompletion, spoiler alert. But the design of the play is the focus here, and I really like what he brings to the table here. So you can see the routes that everybody's going to run. We've got Kmet on a check and release. We've got a corner here. We've got a crosser here, or an in-breaker here, whatever you want to call it. And then we've got these two. They're going to sell that this is a toss play. And the whole goal of the play action on this play is to get Jack Campbell, number 46, to bite downhill. If you can get him to bite downhill, there should be a lot of green grass for Jahdae Walker, because this safety has to carry with Olamide Zaccheaus downfield, and then this corner, who's going to end up playing in the flat, is going to have to be responsible for Cole Kmet. You'll see exactly what I mean here in just a second. As you can see, these two over here, you sell that it's going to be a run. They fake the handoff to the left here. Daniel Hardy sells as if he's going to be out in space as the lead blocker for DeAndre Swift. And it does get the linebacker to bite downhill. You see Jack Campbell's out of position, and look at how much separation Jahdae Walker has. And he has all this green grass that he can run into. Now, unfortunately, Caleb is going to place his ball a little bit low. It falls incomplete. But considering we are focusing on the play design here, makes a ton of sense, right? Like, this is a really, really nice design. Nothing like crazy out of the ordinary. You know, if you use a fullback, this is something you're probably going to see, but it does keep not only Jack Campbell here, gets him to bite downhill, but you can see this corner who's responsible for the flat, he even steps downhill, which makes it so nobody's on Jahdae Walker. Like, look again at how wide open he is and how much grass he has out in front of him. This is all by design. This is what the play is meant to do. And even though Caleb throws this ball a little low, like I said, you can see he's pretty disappointed in himself. He knows that he should have that one back. He knows he makes that throw any other time. The design of the play here works. Daniel Hardy helps sell so that this is a run, helps a lot with play action. And the Bears could have picked up, I don't know, like 20, almost 30 yards here, if not more. I mean, Jahdae, he's got a lot of green grass up that sideline. Up here, you've got a blocker if Zacchaeus can set his block, and then this DB so far away, maybe Jade turns it upfield and gets in the end zone. But point being, I like the design here. This is a good job. Wouldn't be able to do this without a fullback in the backfield. Makes it a lot easier to sell play action when you have a guy like that. And again, this play, without pulling Jack Campbell as far downhill as they did and getting him out of position, you wouldn't be able to throw this crosser wide open like that. So props to Ben Johnson. You could have had anybody in there, but I really like that it is Daniel Hardy, as we'll see in the next play, because I really do think he could play fullback full time. And the final play we're going to take a look at today is the reason why I think Daniel Hardy should get more reps as a fullback for the Bears, because this is everything you want to see from a fullback on this kind of play. He's going to do a great job not only executing what he needs to do, but also making his teammates' lives easier. He's going to do a great job helping out some of these linemen who get in unfortunate positions just because of good plays by the defenders, right? So we're going to go ahead and take a look here as Caleb Williams is going to motion DJ Moore inside. He's going to pick up this DB out here. Caleb's going to turn around, hand this ball to Swift. But watch how quick Daniel Hardy breaks the plane here. He gets upfield to help out so quick. This is a great job getting off the ball. First thing you're going to notice right here, we've got Darnell Wright getting beat to the inside. Bryce Huff got a really nice release off the line. So Daniel Hardy is going to do a good job of picking up Huff and getting him in position for Darnell Wright to pick him back up, right? Then you're going to see the second block that Daniel Hardy is going to set, as we've got Drew Dahlman kind of getting beat by this linebacker, right? This linebacker is in really good position. You can see Luther Burden's blocking a man outside. If we can open up a lane through the middle here, it's going to be nothing but green grass for DeAndre Swift. So what's Daniel Hardy going to do? Boom! Hit that linebacker, and then DeAndre Swift is off to the races. And not only did he set two great blocks, but he does the number one thing you should do as a fullback, and he gets up to his running back in the end zone and is right there ready to celebrate with him. We'll go ahead and take a look from the other angle as well so you can see these blocks a little bit better. It's just a great job by Daniel Hardy, man. So you can see here's the first block right here as Hardy is going to take on Huff, walls him off there at the end. I love that. I love pushing him into position and then getting your back to the defender. And then you can see his eyes go to DeAndre Swift. Okay, Swift is making a play. He's about to get up to the second level, so I need to do whatever I can. I need to hit the first guy I see. First guy I see, number 53, looks like he's giving Dahlman a hard time. Boom, stand him up, drive him into your teammate, drive him into the center, and DeAndre Swift is able to run right through the lane that Daniel Hardy is going to make. This is a beautiful, beautiful job by Daniel Hardy. And when you consider some of these guys that have made the transition from defensive end, linebacker, special teamer, whatever, to fullback, it's not hard to see why Daniel Hardy could do the same. Honestly, give this kid a number in the 40s, let him play in the backfield, and reap the benefits of him blocking for DeAndre Swift and for Kyle Monangai, and even for Caleb Williams, maybe in pass pro. Realistically, no offense to Daniel Hardy, he's not adding a ton on defense, right? The Bears' defensive line is horrendous. He's not adding anything that's going to make or break the team. If you can convince him that this is his future, that this is where he's best suited for the team, give him that number change, let him keep playing on special teams, because I've never seen a Bears player love special teams more than Daniel Hardy. I swear, every time I see this man on special teams, he's trying to take somebody's head off. So you let him play special teams, which every fullback does anyways, and then bring him in 21 personnel sets. And hell, you can even keep doing the weird stuff like bringing Devin Duvernay into the backfield or DJ Moore into the backfield, or, you know, maybe you want to keep a third tight end that can also play fullback for you so you have a little bit of flexibility there. It's clear that Ben Johnson's comfortable running 21, 22, 23 personnel, or maybe not 23 personnel. Maybe I'm getting a little carried away there, but 21 and 22 personnel with different kinds of players in the backfield. If you're willing to do that, and you have a guy like Hardy who can do stuff like this, set up 2 blocks on a 22-yard rushing touchdown, then why not? You know, let him do this full time. Again, he's not giving you a ton on defense. I think this might be his calling. I really do. So I'm hoping as soon as this weekend against Green Bay, as soon as tomorrow against Green Bay, this video is coming out on Friday, you know, we see more Daniel Hardy at fullback. We've gotten it twice this year. I want to see that doubled next week, and then doubled the next week all the way to the Super Bowl. I love Daniel Hardy at fullback. I think this would be fantastic. And honestly, even if the Bears don't have a fullback rostered, I love that Ben Johnson recognizes how important having that extra blocker in the backfield and being able to manipulate defenses with personnel matchups and whatnot is, because, it's a tale as old as time. You get that extra guy in the backfield, there's so much you can do, there's so much that opens up. And I think Ben Johnson, with all of his creativity and all of his different ways of getting that extra guy in the backfield, is a prime example of that. But anyways, folks, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to leave a like down below, as it does help out the channel a ton. It shows your support, it shows you care, and I really do appreciate it. Also, make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this video. This is a little bit different for me. Normally, I just sit down and talk about the best blocks of a given week, but obviously, as a Bears fan, I wanted to talk about the Bears at some point on Fullback Friday, and the opportunity presented itself. I thought this was very interesting. I think it's really cool what Ben Johnson's doing. Would I like to see him doing it with a more traditional fullback? Sure, but I'm not going to question Ben Johnson. I am in no position to question arguably the greatest offensive mind football has today. So definitely make sure to let me know down in the comments below what you thought about this video, about Ben Johnson, about fullbacks, anything. I'd love to hear it. Also, make sure to subscribe for more NFL content coming your way throughout the rest of the playoffs and beyond. Can't believe we are in the playoffs already, and I really can't believe the Bears are here. You told me that 2-3 months ago, I would have called you crazy, but we're here, and I'm hoping they get the dub tomorrow. So, with all that said, again, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it, because you're all wonderful people, and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder.
Wow. Using that